Hello, today we're going to learn about dividing fractions with like denominators. Now, before we learn about dividing fractions, there is a concept that we need to understand, and that's about the reciprocal fraction. Now, what is a reciprocal fraction? Let's try and understand with an example. Let's take 8 over 9. So now, what is the reciprocal fraction of this going to be? Let's take a look. So in reciprocal fraction, the numerator becomes the denominator and the denominator becomes the numerator. So in essence, the reciprocal fraction of 8 over 9 is going to be 9 over 8. Let's take another example. So we have 6 over 5. So what do you think is the reciprocal fraction for this fraction? Think about it. It is going to be 5 over 6. So in the original fraction, 6 is the numerator. It becomes the denominator in the reciprocal fraction. And 5, which is the denominator in the reciprocal fraction, it becomes the numerator. Let's take another example. So what do you think is the reciprocal fraction of 7 over 9? Again, you bring the 7, which is the numerator, to the denominator, and you take the denominator and you move it over to the numerator. So that becomes the reciprocal fraction. So keep that in mind because we're going to use this when we do the division of fractions. So now let's learn how to divide fractions. Okay, let's take an example. So we're going to do 6 over 5 divided by 2 over 5. Now we're going to use the reciprocal method. Now when we're doing the reciprocal method, let's understand. This is your first fraction. Remember that. And then this is your second fraction. So in the reciprocal method, what you do with the first fraction is you do nothing. You just keep it as it is. So I'm going to write that as 6 over 5. And then what you do with the division symbol here is you convert it into a multiplication. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the division to a multiplication. And then you're going to take the second fraction here and you're going to use the reciprocal of that fraction. So what I'm going to do is for the reciprocal, basically you flip, you make the numerator the denominator the numerator, right? So that's what we're going to do. So it's going to be 5 over 2. So you have to, in the division, you have to first convert this fraction that's given to you into a multiplication using the reciprocal method. So that's all you're doing. You're changing the second fraction and you are changing the division to a multiplication. And now you solve for this. So let's solve this. So it's going to be 6 times 5 over 5 times 2, which is equal to 30 over 10, which is now equal to, anyway, let's solve this. So we can take the 5 times table. We can do 5 times 2 and 5 times 6, which is 6 over 2, which can be further simplified as 2 times 3 is 6. So your answer is going to be 3. I want you to see there's a correlation here. So how did we get to a 3? So we got to a 3 using 6 over 2, right? That's what it is. So if you see this, technically these are the numerators here. So when your denominators are the same, right? When the denominators are same, for division, what you can do is you can simply take the numerator, first numerator, divided by the second numerator. That's as simple as that. So 2 times 3, which is exactly the answer you have here. So now let's look at another example. Okay, so we've got 7 over 3 divided by 4 over 3. Now using the reciprocal method, what we're going to do is we're going to keep the first fraction as it is. So 7 over 3. We're going to take the division and convert it or change it to a multiplication symbol. we've done that. And for the second fraction, we're going to flip it, or we're going to use the reciprocal of it. So the reciprocal of 4 over 3 is going to be 3 over 4. Once we've done this conversion, we simply do the multiplication here. So that's going to be 7 times 3 over 3 times 4, which is equal to 21 over 12. Now, if you further solve this, right? So let's say we take the 3 times table and we further simplify this. So we've got 7 over 4, just to see how you got it. So if you use the 3 times table, it's 4, and 7 times 3 is 21. So that's how you got 7 and 4. Now, if you make the correlation here, you see the numerator. So it's simply the division of numerators when the denominators are the same. So that could, I mean, we've done the reciprocal method, but you could have also done the short method, which is simply divide the numerator, the first one divided by the second one, and that's the answer. Let's take another example. So we have 8 over 5 divided by 3 over 5. We will apply the reciprocal method. We'll keep the first fraction as it is, so 8 over 5. We will change the division symbol to multiplication. We will flip the second fraction, and so it becomes 5 over 3. And now we will simply do the multiplication here. So it's going to be 8 times 5 over 5 times 3, which is equal to 8 times 5 is 40 over 15. Now, if you take the 5 times table, for example, to simplify this, 5 times 3 is 15, 5 times 8 is 40, so we get 8 over 3. And then again, if you see, it's the numerator, first numerator over the second numerator. So the short method that we just saw, I just want to show you some examples with the short method. So let's say we have 4 over 6 divided by 5 over 6. Using the short method, since the denominators are the same here, we can quickly get the answer as 4 over 5. Let's take another example. So we have 5 over 3 divided by 2 over 3. Using the short method, since the denominators are the same, we can simply use the numerators, the first numerator, which is 5, over the second numerator, which is 2. So let's do a comparison of the reciprocal method with that of the short method using the same example. So for example, here we'll take 6 over 5 divided by 3 over 5. So now we're going to use the reciprocal method. Let's see. So step 1 in the reciprocal method, as you recall, is going to be 6 over 5. The division symbol has to change to a multiplication, and the second fraction we have to flip it or use the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 3 over 5 is 5 over 3. Next step is we multiply the numerators, which is 6 over, times 5 over 5 times 3. The next step is we solve for that multiplication, which is 6 times 5 is 30 over 5 times 3 is 15, which we can further simplify it using 5 times table to say 6. So 5 times 6 is 30 over 5 times 3, which is 15. Now let's look at the same thing with the short method. Remember, it's only with like denominators that you can use this methodology. So again, we take the same example, 6 over 5 divided by 3 over 5. We know the denominators are the same, so we can use the short method, which is the first numerator, this one, over the second numerator. So that's the answer. So see the answers here? I mean, you've got 4 steps versus in 1 step. But again, just so that you understand how do we get here, right? So it's a reciprocal method, and this is the short method, which you can use only when you have the like denominators. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. For more lessons, please visit our website at www.myeschool.com. You can visit us at www.myeschool.com or write to us at contact@myeschool.com. Also, like, subscribe, and press the bell icon to stay connected with our channel.